Okay, the question that everybody is asking, so if we waited to have sex before we got married. Hi guys, and good morning. I am just sitting on the couch in the fall spirit, even though it's really hot here. But I'm just chilling, and I wanted to film this Q&A for you guys. I asked you guys on Instagram story if you had any kind of like out of the ordinary questions, or a little bit more personal, I guess, and I want to be open with you guys. I love watching these kinds of videos. But if you're not following me on Instagram already, then you can do that here, because sometimes I do question and answers on there and then bring them onto YouTube. So if you want to ask a question and be in a video, you can follow me there. So let's go ahead and get into, I guess, some juicy questions. I don't know. One of the first questions is, she said, this is a super personal question, but I have to ask, do you and Josh want kids? I'm glad she said that's like a personal thing, because some people can't even have kids. But we do, God willing, we do want kids. But definitely not now, because we just feel so young. This is the first time we've even lived together, so we're just kind of enjoying that time of our life. He's working, I'm trying to get hired, so yeah, it just wouldn't be a good time for kids, but in the future. Somebody asked, what is your favorite thing about living together? Probably the first thing that comes to mind is that I don't have to drive 30 minutes to see him. And I got so used to that drive over the course of like 8 years of us dating, and I'm just glad I don't have to do that to see him. It's definitely hard when he's at work for a while, since he is a firefighter, but it definitely makes it more special when he comes home after like a 72-hour shift or more. So I definitely love that. We love cooking together when we can. We love doing that, so that's another thing about living together that I love. And yeah, so it's definitely fun. What did you get your degree in? I got my degree in communication studies. I guess that's what it's called. It's a very broad communication major. I really wish my university had like a social media marketing communication type thing. But either way, I learned a lot about marketing and advertisement through my communication major. So I can definitely apply that to YouTube and Instagram, and hopefully a future job in social media marketing. So yeah, because a lot of you guys asked what I do, or if I do like social media full-time. That is definitely a dream, but it's definitely hard to do. So I can't do that full-time right now, because I don't make too much money from things like YouTube and Instagram, but it's enough right now. And hopefully I'll be getting hired soon with something related to communication. How many siblings do you and Josh have, and are your families close? Yes, they're close, because we met through our moms. They were kindergarten teachers together at the same school, and I was 12 years old when I went and met his mom and his brothers and Josh. So yeah, I was very young, but we met through them. So that it's nice that, you know, our families know each other, and they're friendly, and they're friends and stuff, so that's really fun. But for siblings, I have one younger brother, and Josh has 2 younger brothers. So now that we're married, I guess I have 3 brothers, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, no sisters in either of our families. What has been the most challenging in your relationship while dating and engagement? The most challenging part while dating, I would say, was when we had to do long distance for a year. That was definitely really hard for me. I think Josh, I don't know if he thinks it was as hard, but I do. Just being home and then him being away. I would only see him like on Christmases or some vacations, but it was only a year. So I really commend you relationships who have had to do it for much longer. He was away at school, and then he actually ended up coming back to start paramedic school. So we didn't have to do it too long, but that was definitely really hard. The hardest part about engagement, I would say, for me personally, being in school while planning a wedding was really hard, because I wasn't just taking like 12 units, because that's the unit number. If you're a full-time student, that's what you would take, or you can take a little bit more. But I was taking 21 units last semester in order to graduate before I got married, because I really wanted to not have to go back to school after our wedding. So I did that, and then I graduated in May, and then we got married. So that was really hard, not having a wedding planner and being in school. Of course, we did have like 13 months to plan, so don't try and rush it if you're in school. So that definitely helped, but that was the hardest part about engagement. Have you ever struggled with unhealthy eating, diet, or eating disorder? Do you have any advice? I don't think I ever did. I pretty much always had a good relationship with food. In high school though, obviously like the body image stuff comes into play, and that's when Instagram started becoming a thing. And I'm like so scared if I have a girl, because the world that it is right now with Instagram and social media is so scary with body image. But with that said, I feel like I had a good relationship with food, but then sometimes I would almost like binge eat because I'm like, oh my gosh, like scarf this down. So like I would eat really, really bad or something one day, and then I would feel like so upset, like why did I do that? But it wasn't to the point where I could say like, oh, I had a binge eating disorder, because I was every now and then, and I was so active with cheerleading and dance, competitive dance, that I, you know, kept like the weight off if I ever ate any junk food. So I really had nothing to really worry about. But now I'm just conscious about what I put in my body, because it makes me feel better if I'm eating more of like a whole foods diet, like greens and meats and things that aren't too processed. Obviously I'll have chips now and then. But it's okay, and you just want to enjoy that food. And if you're wanting that cookie that somebody baked or you made some, like eat it. Don't like suppress yourself. I guess that's the advice that I would give you, because once you tell your mind you can never ever have that, it's so bad for you, you probably will start craving it and wanting it more, and it mentally can do, you know, some bad things to you. So have that cookie, and then, you know, work out during the week, and you know, go out for a glass of wine and dinner with your friends on the weekend, and just, you know, make sure that you're eating clean, you know, throughout the week, or for one meal a day. It's literally, you know, you can take baby steps. Okay, the question that everybody is asking, which I'm totally fine with answering. I think it's really important to talk about this, because there's young girls that watch my channel, there's couples that might watch the channel, even though this is like such a small platform. I do want to say, I think for the 8 years being with Josh, I really do want to talk about this topic, so I think I'm going to make it in a whole video if you want that. But it is if we waited until we got married. So if we waited to have sex before we got married, and we did. It was 8 long years of an amazing relationship, amazing dating and traveling and so much fun stuff. But physically it gets hard. Like, we're human, we want to, you know, kiss and be together, and like, you know, you have those feelings obviously in high school especially, and going into college and seeing all of your friends, you know, hooking up with guys and girls, and hearing all of their stories. And not that I looked at their stories and was like, oh my gosh, I want that to be me and Josh, because I didn't, because I knew that Josh and I, in the beginning of our relationship, when we were really young, kind of knew, okay, like, this is something that we should not be able to take away from each other. Something that we can't get back is our virginity. Obviously, you can only be that once, pretty much, a virgin. And so I always remember what Josh used to tell me when we were young, which I was so surprised when he would tell me this. As a young guy, like, guys are physical, you know what they want usually. And he just said he would feel so sad and devastated if we ever broke up, which we hoped that we never would when we were that young. But he said if something were to happen and we weren't together, and I knew in my heart that I took that from you, he's telling me this, if he knew that he took that from me, and then I was with another guy and had to be like, yeah, like I slept with this guy, blah, blah, blah. And you know, just knowing that he took something I can't get back, he said that he would feel just so horrible about it. And not only that, but we do believe in God, and we're Christians, and we do read the Bible, and we think that there's a reason for that to keep it in marriage. Everyone's different, of course. It's very controversial, and that's okay. It's totally fine. It doesn't really matter to me, obviously. That's just my decision and our decision, and it's totally worth it. Josh and I were talking, like, we just feel like we're one. Like, not only did we not live together before we got married, so that's a huge change, but like waiting till marriage, we can say that we're so proud of ourselves, and you know, taking that temptation. And also I can use that as a tool to talk to you guys about it, to talk to young girls who maybe are wanting to lose their virginity just because her friend is making fun of her. So anyways, I will do a full video on that if you're interested. And yeah, on that topic, I think that's all I have to say there, but that's that. Somebody asked if there's a reason that we waited 8 years to get married. We didn't like say, oh my gosh, 8 years of dating, then we'll get married, but like I said, we started dating pretty much when I was 13, and now, and then I got engaged when I was 22, because I basically just told Josh, like, of course I want to get married to you, but I really want to be married when I'm not in school anymore. Like, I want to be graduated and then get married, and I literally did exactly that. That's why I took so many units, because in May I graduated and was pretty much done. I had a few summer classes to do, and then 3 months later, yeah, I don't know, I can't count. We were married in August, so that's the only reason why it was like 8 years, because I ended up being graduated on our like 8-year, I guess, and then married during that time, and then we just celebrated like our 8 year of dating, which is kind of technically longer than that. It's probably like 9. Okay, one of the last questions I just wanted to touch on, because I think I want to do a full video on this topic, and somebody said, are you on any birth control, and if so, do you have any negative side effects? I'm glad that she talked about negative side effects, because birth control is just so crazy that not a lot of us girls are really even told what's in it, what we're putting in our body, and what it's doing to our body. I know a lot of girls, especially in high school, they're excited to be on birth control because maybe it stops their period completely, which is so scary, or you know, maybe it clears up their acne and that's the only reason why they went on it. But it's crazy to think that, you know, we're put on these pills at a young age, or really any kind of birth control, and we're not told like the side effects and how it possibly could affect us being able to get pregnant in the future, and being able to, you know, it really imbalances our hormones, and not a lot of people know about that. So I really wanted to steer clear of that. I was on the pill once in my life, once again, because people told me it would help acne and things like that, and I hated it so much. I was on it for a few months and I was just like, no. And Josh is a paramedic, and he has just learned so much about it just really not doing good things to your heart. You can have a stroke. I don't want to scare anybody that's on it, because if you are on it right now, I'm sure it's because your doctor is okay with you being on it and you feel fine, but some girls don't do well with it. There are obviously IUDs and things like that. But I really didn't want to do any of that in our first month of marriage. At least I wanted to try out a natural form of birth control, so that's what I'm doing. Some people call it natural family planning, whatever you might want to call it. I basically take my temperature every morning, and I'm tracking my ovulation window that way. Obviously everyone's different, but I think as a girl you're kind of told, like, if you have sex, you're getting pregnant, but it's like there's only a certain window where you can get pregnant in the month. And when you learn a lot about it, it's just great to know that about yourself, know that about your body, what it's doing every day, each month, and why it's doing it. So I mean, obviously if an accident happens, then it happens. We're married and we have support, but that was just our decision to at least try it out for the first month, and things have been going fine with natural birth control methods. So anyways, I'll probably do a full video on that. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. And I feel like that's it for the video. I don't know if it was too short or not. Those are kind of the questions that I've been getting asked and that are a little bit more personal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen our wedding video, it is on my channel if you want to check it out. And we have been married for a month, so that's crazy, and my birthday's next month. I'm really excited. We're going on a fun trip. So yeah, anyways, I'll talk to you guys in my next video, and maybe it's gonna be another juicy one, but we'll see. Bye guys.